Hi, this is me, Ivor Chan. I am a self-declared foodie. That's sushi that you see. Born and raised in Vancouver, Canada. Lived in Southern California for most of my life after school, working as a software engineer. Today I'm going to be sharing my Everest, the greatest challenge I've faced in my life. Um, Please consider this an open doors, um, so that if there's anything that you can glean from this presentation and you would love to share with me, I'd love to connect. The day before my accident, Whistler, Vancouver, Canada. Uh, this was a really nice day. We just took the gondola, my brother and I, up after we got some groceries just to grill for our folks. And the next day, we were going to celebrate my grandma's 90th birthday. What happened was we rented bikes in the afternoon, my brother and I, and we rode along the lake. Just cruiser bikes, nothing crazy. And I went off trail, hit a tree trunk, and I flipped over the handlebars. And I didn't know this, but I have a congenitally small spinal canal, so my spinal cord couldn't bounce after I hit my head on the tree trunk, and it just caused the hematoma right away. And if I had a normal spinal canal, I would have been fine. It would just been a bruise, probably a nasty cut in my forehead, but it is what it is. And I got a spinal cord injury from that accident, C3. This is me in the hospital. I believe this is in Whistler. Just a lot of tubes trying to keep me alive. And then I was flown to the Tier 1 hospital in Vancouver after I was stabilized. Much better condition. The NG tube through my nose to help me to feed me. It goes all the way down to the stomach. I have a slit in my throat, so there's a trachea, so that allows a breathing machine to be connected so that my lungs can breathe. The gentleman is my buddy from Taiwan. He heard about my accident and he just booked the next ticket, and he's never been to Vancouver, but he took a 16-hour flight just to see me. And that's my sister. She flew up from San Francisco. She was 8 months pregnant. Um, that's a matrix. I just mumbled the word matrix to my sister when I first saw her, and she knew exactly what I wanted. I couldn't speak to anybody because of all the tubes through my nose and mouth, and the trach that helps me breathe. So I would mouth out the letters H I by using the numbers 2, 3, 2, 4. So that's how I communicated for a week. After I was stabilized, I was in Craig Hospital for a few months just to learn what it's like to be in a wheelchair. And then after that, I went to Shirley Ryan. That's the picture on the bottom right in Streeterville, Chicago. Um, and I continued my rehab there, which you'll see some videos very soon. So Craig Hospital, you can kind of see it's a great hospital. It's made designed for spinal cord injured folks like myself, and also brain injured patients. It's interesting because it's all neurons. It's um, all the way down from the brain all over your body. The neurons configurations are different once you go lower from the brain, but it's still all neuro. So people that work at Craig Hospital, they're fascinated by neuro injuries, and folks like us are lucky enough to be in a very specialized environment. That's my brother. He was with me for, I'd say, the first 2 years of my injury, 3 weeks here in Denver, Colorado, and 1 week back in London where he resides. That chair is called a sip and puff. So there's a straw. I can't move anything below my shoulders at that time. So there's a straw there that you can breathe into. You can puff to move forward, sip to go backwards, and then kind of go in between to turn. Um, so after I was kind of got used to all the life in the wheelchair from Craig Hospital, all the great education and the training I received there, I was ready to do some more physical rehab. So I went to Chicago, and this is my PT working with me. Um, You can kind of see I really don't have too much. I have some because I can stabilize. I'm not flip flopping too much. I'm trying to hold my core together, but she's doing most of that motion for me. I have a little bit of movement on the left side came back first. So there, so a hip flexor, a little bit of a kick out, not much core, a lot of bending, just relying on this apparatus to keep me up. But at least early signs that I could start reconnecting to my body and move stuff. Sit to stand. How many times have you gone from a sitting position to a standing position today? So this is a lot of effort. It's a lot of my rehab is just trying to stand. I don't have much activity below the neck, so I'm using my face to will myself forward. A little bit of core, a little bit of hip flexors, PT's being positive, keeping me, cueing me, motivating me. And that was 4 hours a day, 2 hours PT, 2 hours OT. Occupational therapy is like arms and hands and like fold clothes, learn how to write again, find different ways to eat, try to be creative. And PT is like learning how to stand, learning how to walk, learning how to kick, rolling around the mat. A little bit about my injury. So, the higher your injury is on your spinal cord, the less connection you have to your body. So, people that have C1, that's the most severe. That's probably what you recognize the most as a quadriplegic. Um, Here, you get like shoulders, arms, fingers. Fingers are really useful. Uh, Core, and then what everybody hopes for is the lumbar, the walking. So, um, and then the parasympathetic is the bladder and bowels too. So, it's how the body works. You're gonna see a lot of. Oh, sorry. So I have a incomplete injury. So the more severe your injury was at the spinal cord, the less connections you have going down from the brain to your body. That's why you're able to see, even though I have a C3 injury, you're able to see me get so much back is because, I in general didn't have as severe an accident as someone. Let's say if I went bungee cord jumping and it snapped or something. Um, that's why you see a lot more of my recovery. You're gonna see me very stiff, and occasionally my body starts like doing some spasms. So that's called tone or spasticity, and that basically is like this is the typical response when you touch a stimulus. It goes to the brain. The brain says "ouch," but my body's saying "ouch" all the time, even though I'm not sending actual real signal. It's because the connections kind of interfered with. I'm getting all these weird signals. So as I'm talking to you right now, a lot of my muscles are firing, like my biceps firing. I can see right now, but it's not intentional. I was back at Craig Hospital after a few months at Shirley Ryan in Chicago. I was waitlisted for this program, and you'll see why I wanted to do this program. Oh, whoops, what happened there? Let's see. So there's three folks, one holding the core, one on each leg, just really helping me. They're doing most of the work there. Just try to get that gait pattern back. What does it mean to walk again? You gotta lift those legs, you gotta kick out, you gotta get that heel down, all that patterning. So this was an hour and a half every single day. It's very tiring for these folks to do that, but they do it for me, and it was worth it. And OT wise, this machine will simulate all these little muscles on your arms and hands. When you're turning your hand, when you're opening your hand, when you're trying to grab something, this machine will kind of fire at the sequence of when you're supposed to be doing those things, just to kind of hopefully send that signal up. Hey, I'm supposed to be turning my hand now, and just hoping to get that pattern back. First real walk with a walker. Exciting day. My PT was giving me an evaluation, so she said, "Let's give it a try," and I gave it a try. Very exciting. Joe's holding me back there, making sure I don't fall. He's giving me actually just that touch is a lot of feedback for me, and there's a lot of like both psychological security and physical security in the sense that I can use his hand to push against to be like, okay, that's where I am in space. Because, as let's say you're standing up right now, there's all these like sensors that are firing off in your body that tell you, oh, your hips a little to the right, a little. There's all these little micro sensations you're getting from your feet saying, okay, you're tippy toeing right now. You just automatically adjust. But I don't have all those sensations. So just having someone like give me some physical guidance is huge. And it's if you're able to not have it, you'll start seeing most folks don't want to touch me anymore because they know I'll start leaning on them because they're really trying to force me to use my own body to get those signals back. Getting out of bed. How many times have we not thought about getting out of bed? I practice this almost at least once a week. I'm cheating by polling here, but I can do much better now. This is like a year, month 12, so, but pretty happy that I could do this. And you can see the effort, the tightness in the back, that bicep. See that biceps firing, that's tone. I'm not doing that intentionally, um, but got out of bed. I would say the first 3 years of rehab, a lot of harnesses. If you're not able to hold yourself up, if you're not able to move your hands, you just use what kind of equipment you need at that time. So just a lot of harnessing, but just trying to move that whatever I have as much as I can. Maybe do a lot of stuff edge of mat so that if I need to just sit down or take a little tumble, it's safe. Um, you know, just trying to think of new ways to do rehab, even if it's doing sit-ups in bed or modified sit-ups, and then using the equipment in the gym that I live at. The evolution of the sit to stand from 6 months, 24 months, 43 months. So 2 years and maybe 3.5 years. So the good news is you'll see the changes, but the kind of hard news is like how long it takes to get there. So 6 months, you can see not very much, using all my effort just to do it. 2 years, that's my dad cheerleading me on. So got the effort, had a little bit of a thrust, a lot more strength, a lot more balance. That right foot wants to tippy toe and curve out, so that makes it harder. And then 3.5, just a lot more control, less like just flinging and just more activating, a lot more balance, better ankle. But I'm using a brace, so you can tell, still not there yet. From 3 years to 5 years, a lot more, less harnessing, a lot more my own, still some harnessing when it's like just crawling, which is developmental sequencing, all the steps you do when you're a baby up until you are able to walk, just to reintroduce all those sequences. Um, if I have problems with getting my right heel down, let's put some weight on it and let's do some squats. Let's if I have problems getting my right hip forward, let's put a little band there and try to force me to activate that right hip, instead of always using my left because it's easier. If I need to get those hips through as I'm walking, let's do some bridges. Let's add some blood restrictive flow cuffs. Let's do deadlifts if I'm able to. And then if I can do 5 push-ups, Benjamin's behind me saying, give me 5 more if it looks too easy. And I give him 5 more. And leg presses if possible. So all that hard work leads to what everyone wants, walking. So again, 1 year, 2 years, and pretty much almost 5 years. You'll see a slow evolution. Very crooked ankle. Um, Benjamin's really helping, making sure that ankle doesn't roll. He's watching my core. He's just really helping me out, just being super safe, but super exciting for me 1 year out. 2 years, way better step length. My mom's cheerleading me right now. Ethan's behind. Good step length, pretty good step width. I'm lifting my legs up, but it's not like huge. Um, Still using the walker quite a bit. I'm pushing down. Just imagine if you were able to do like a dip and a walk at the same time. So it's not that obvious how much this helps, but it's sometimes it's like doing a plank. It helps a lot with a walker. So if you're able to, get better at walking or the gait pattern, you want to try to evolve from the walker to uh, forearm crutches. And then forearm crutches, they have a little stability by the forearms, and you just have to use your glutes a lot more to propel you forward. You can't really do this plank that you're able to do with a walker. Um, so you're going to see forearm crutches, and if you're really lucky, you'll get to be able to use canes one day. And once you're able to use canes and you're still in the same trajectory, it's feasible that you won't need anything. You can just walk like you used to walk, feet, possibly. So forearm crutches, you can tell it's a little I'm less stable on it. I'm still trying to figure it out because I just can't apply as much pressure as I can with a walker. So it's psychologically scarier and physically harder because I got to use I got to use those glutes and the hips, and it's a lot harder of a walk. I wanted to give a fuller, more well-rounded picture of what it's like life in the chair. So um, this kind of captures. This is not my kitchen, but it kind of captures how a lot of folks' kitchens are, where there's a big island. Everything looks like, oh, there's so much space. You should be fine cooking in a kitchen like this. But if you're in a chair, you wheel over here, you open this door here to get food, but then it blocks you from getting the food. So then after you open the door, you have to go around over here to get the food. Let's say you're trying to make a salad, and you kind of roll back over here, but you can't really reach the faucet to wash the salad. So then you end up having to go to the bathroom to wash your salad there and come back to the kitchen. It's just quite inconvenient. So that's very typical of someone living in a chair, staying in an apartment. Hopefully, a lot of folks that stay at home are able to customize their environments one day, but that's just reality. And then I won't go into too much detail here, but needless to say that in a wheelchair you need a lot of space um, in the bathroom, and it's definitely challenging. I've never used public service before, but I'm lucky that in Denver they do have this public service where they have these buses that you can schedule to pick up. But unfortunately, because it's a public service, it's like not like Uber where you can have 100 different drivers decide they want to start driving during rush hour. Like with a scheduled service, it's like probably like 20 people that are on salary that you know it's not on demand, it's not market driven. So there's many times you just have to wait. Sometimes it's normal to wait an hour, but sometimes you have to wait 2 hours for a scheduled ride, um, and it is what it is. Last slide here just wants to show that when you're out and about in a chair, 99% of the folks that are talking to you are amazing, are just wonderful people. But there's always that 1% where you'll just be going down. I'll be going down the street in downtown, and someone will just say, "Hey, what's up, Stephen Hawkins?" And for me, it doesn't ruin my day because I've always had the mentality of I can't change how someone else thinks. I can only change the way I think and the way I react to situations, and I consider that I've always considered that part of my discipline, personal discipline. But I have friends that because I live next to the hospital, I have friends that won't come out of their apartments because they don't want to be identified as someone in a chair. Um, so that kind of leads me to this quote from Thomas Aquinas: "To love is to will the good of the other." We all can make choices in our lives, even like little things like I just said. Like 99% of us aren't going to make that choice of making that stupid joke. So why can't we just choose to will the good of the other? I like this quote because encapsulates um, uh, love can have kind of different meanings in different contexts, but I think willing the good of the other is a really good overarching definition, and it's also like it's like like the older we get, the more we get it, you know. And it's like the question I get a lot is, why haven't I decided to go back to Los Angeles? It is obvious. You can see I'm making a lot of progress still, and yeah, that's a big reason. But also because of all the folks that you just saw in the videos, like they're my friends now. Yeah, they work with me, but they're also my social circle, and it's like there's so much love here. So many people that are trying to will the good out of me that, um, as I'm still making progress, I'm just gonna stay here in Denver to be surrounded by such a great collection of folks. Just really lucky. I'm just gonna especially point out Ethan here because he's probably been with me the longest with my recovery, and he just like we work with each other 3 times a week, and he just knows just by right when he comes into the my apartment, he just by looking at my body, he knows like, okay, his right bicep's angry today. Oh, he looks kind of loose today. Let's try something different. So it's like he's just so attuned to me, and we're just so close, and I'm just really lucky to have folks like that. Even though Ethan's at PT school right now, he'll have class, from early mornings till 5 p.m., but he'll still work out with me from like 5:30 to 7:30. That kind of dedication and commitment. I just don't know what to say about that other than thanks. And there's just a lot of good people out there. So I said, if you're really lucky, you get to walk with canes. Month 58, almost month 60. I'm pretty scared. When I get scared, the right heel, right ankle gets even angrier. But as I do this more, this will start getting better, and then I'm gonna be cruising. There you go. So, walking on grass, and I'm gonna continue walking on grass. Hopefully, one day when we meet again, I can visit you in a park and we can walk along the grass together. Thanks for hearing my story today about my Everest, and I hope that if you ever encounter a great challenge yourself, that you are surrounded by people that are trying to will the good out of you. And I assure you, my friend, through perseverance, you will the good out of them.